Morning, how's everyone going? My name's DeadRon, I'm an Australian VTuber, and today I'm taking you through my build for Seaweed Shay's Shell Challenge. This is a Dollhouse Shell Challenge. She has created a very interesting shell, as you can see, is intended as a full-size dollhouse. Now, because I lack any form of imagination, I've decided to turn this into a literal dollhouse. That is not part of the challenge. The dollhouse reference is solely in terms of the actual shape of it. But I decided to turn it into a museum that is a sort of life-size dollhouse. You can see here I made some fairly generic bathrooms, just something to fit the sort of aesthetic of it, but also be practical. I use the rope, the fence with the red rope to form the displays within the Dollhouse Museum. I also created some quote-unquote doors within the dollhouse. The idea is that if this was a physical dollhouse, you would close those large doors and there would be an open cutout that would be the entrance. Here you can see the first of my life models. So this is the kitchen and a shared kitchen dining room. I created a typical domestic scene, obviously a pink kitchen in this case, making heavy use of clutter. I tried to avoid using Alt 0 and 9 to place objects, even though that would have allowed me to do better placement of the cutlery, because often that results in objects not appearing. I did eventually change out this kid that you see at the sink with a man making pizza. I'm quite happy with how this room turned out in particular. I think that really sells the friendly domestic scene. Now, I was initially going to put the Katrina doll upstairs, however I changed my mind, making her a fancy widow. That's her and her husband in the painting, and as you can see, quite an old, maybe 18th, 19th century bedroom. Very fancy, very sort of fitting her aesthetic, I guess you could call it. Now, the next thing I did to give myself a bit of a break from the dollhouse was to create a sand pit playground. I figure this is somewhere that parents can let their kids just blow off some steam and sort of enjoy themselves while the parents are exploring the museum. A lot of the times children just will not be interested in that sort of thing. Gotta give them their own space to enjoy themselves. Here we've got the art room with, once again, two dolls, one being the painter, one being the model, and just a little friendly scene. Now, the next room that I worked on was the living space, which comprised a living room and a study with a sort of an entrance hall feel to the study. I really hope the man that I've chosen for the living room actually appears when the shell is downloaded. It did when I did it, however I can't guarantee it will work because I had to use Alt 9 to place him. I'm very happy with how the living room turned out. You have a father crying watching a movie. He's got his drinks next to him. His daughter's trying to comfort him while his wife is at the bookshelf. You've got just a few clutter items to make it feel lived in, and finally, as I mentioned, you have the study coming off the entrance hall. Tried to make this a fairly typical home study, a shared one. It's not the sort of one that someone's got in their bedroom. It's just a family study space. Added a frog with a little frog food and a few more decorations. I did really struggle with what plant to put there. None of them were just quite fitting the aesthetic I wanted. In order to give that greater toy feel, I added a sized up toy helicopter and toy plane with helipad and runway. The idea is that this ultimately is a toy set. Obviously, it's a museum that mimics a toy set, but as you walk in, you should feel like, oh yeah, this is a kid who's playing with all of their toys. So the final display within the building was an outdoor area within the house for some reason. Just a barbecue scene with some trees, some vegetation, and a few people having fun hanging out together. I did realise late on that when the rope fence does not meet a wall, it just hangs in midair. I did have to add a plant to fix that. And that is the final part of the build, adding a little decoration outside and a few final touches as I explore things. Here we have my Dollhouse for Shay Seaweed's Shell Challenge. Once again, as we enter, you have a sign basically explaining what the building is, and the first thing you notice is the giant toy helicopter with helipad. Walking past the front door, we enter at the entrance to the display house with a coat rack and shoes on our left. To our right, we have the father crying as he watches his favourite movies. Got the mother, always very studious. And a few hints of domestic life, the pet frog, the study, a fitting architectural drawing above the study, and a bag, a port under the desk. Here we have the bathrooms, fairly standard. Not much to say here apart from the fact that apparently the candle flames float in midair. As we exit here, you'll see a peek of my latest shell challenge. So this is my first ever shell challenge. Hashtag DeadRon shell. I won't waste too much time on it during this video. Now here we have Katrina's room. Very old fashioned, very fancy in the past. A little bit of mirror for decoration behind there just to fill out space. And now as we head upstairs, we have a bit of an art gallery with the two founders of the Dollhouse Museum. And to the right, we enter my personal favourite room of the house, the kitchen. You can see the cluttered table, the family hanging out together. And then here you have these two girlfriends, I don't know, working in the art studio. You can see the kids already in the sand pit having fun. And over here we have the outdoor room. I'm really happy with how the arrows turned out. That was something I haven't tried before, but I think it looks quite good. I plan to use it again in the future. Bit of a barbecue scene, old mate with his son, showing him how you really cook some meat. bit of a cherry tree, and of course your two superheroes, the mascots of the dollhouse. One change I have made here is I've since put railings around this open space so that children can no longer fall directly down onto the stairs. As we approach the play area, you see a birdhouse on your left, several toys within the sand pit, and someone's taken the time to construct a sandman. So I had initially planned to put some swings in here, however this is actually a base game challenge. So you're only allowed to use the base game plus the free holiday pack. Yeah, I do prefer the swings to the monkey bars, but the monkey bars are in the base game. Now as we head around the rear of the site, we have our little single engine plane and a runway, once again adding to the effect that this is a children's play area. Maybe they rolled out a little street mat for the runway. And we have the overall view. I'm quite happy with how this shell has turned out. Once again, this is Seaweed Shays Dollhouse Shell Challenge. I highly recommend checking it out. It's hashtag Shays Shell on the gallery. It was a lot of fun. It really challenged me. Like I said, I like imagination, so I went a very literal dollhouse. But you can do whatever you want here. So go check out Seaweed Shay, go check out hashtag Shay Shell on the gallery. And please remember to like, follow, subscribe my channels. I'm DeadRon on YouTube and Trovo, DeadRon_ on Twitch and Twitter. I stream 4 nights a week, multi-streaming to all 4 of those services, YouTube, Twitch, Trovo and Twitter. I hope you've enjoyed this. Hope you stick around for more of my content. Have a great day.